What up, friends? It is Monday, April 20th, 2020. In fact, in about 20 from the time of doing this, 25 minutes from the time we are streaming this, it will be 4:20 on 4/20/20. I don't know. What does that mean? Depends what it means to you, I suppose. But keeping it simple today. I've been doing a Monday to Friday daily hang, and it's been super fun. There's a lot of reasons. Very, very cool community of people have been hanging out with me. It's been a real pleasure, privilege for me to hang out every day and just chat, stream some ideas. Sometimes we've had very specific topics. Sometimes we've taken some Q&A from here. Today I'm keeping it fucking simple. It's a Monday, and I'm keeping it simple, man. It is a dicey time, I think, for a lot of people. There's the biggest reason, I think, change. Sometimes we're fucking freaked out by change. Freaked out. My hair didn't look like this a month ago. Now it does. Babies be freaking out when they see me. But change is always happening. Everything is changing all the time. So, it feels weird. It feels random. It feels like some shit's going down heavy. Shit is always changing, right? So I want to throw this past you. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. Part of what it freaks us out is uncertainty. What if my grandparents get sick? Like all this uncertainty. We don't know. The future is uncertain. Here's the thing. Every minute of your life that you've lived comfortably, the best moments you've ever had, the learning and the growing and the happiness, all the things you've done, they've always been done in uncertainty. I'm not trying to freak you out, but there's meteorites, fucking earthquakes, world wars, there's nuclear bombs all over the planet. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to tell you that you live in uncertainty all the time and you've been getting by just fine. We've all been getting by just fine living in an uncertain world. So the fact that it feels uncertain now, it feels more uncertain or less uncertain or different uncertain, it's always uncertain. And you fucking handle it just fine. It's just fresh. It's just a fresh vibe right now. It's a freaky time, But this will pass. Human beings are strong and resilient, and this will pass. And so once you first accept the idea that we are always living in uncertainty, we're just not noticing it most of the time. We're not aware of it. That's good. We don't need to be aware of the fact that a meteorite could fucking wipe us all out or that shit's dangerous. We don't need to be aware of that, but it's there. And just by not being aware of it, you handle it just fine every day. And you can handle this just fine too. And a big part of it is just the simple rooting in gratitude. Gratitude. And I mean the simplest kind of gratitude, like being grateful to exist. We fucking take that for granted, but just think about it. You hear this from many people. I've heard this from Gary Vaynerchuk, the way somebody said, until we smoke weed, LO, happy 420, buddy. Happy 420 to you too, my friend. It's Canada. Cannabis is legal here. But yes, for people to celebrate at 420 in a few minutes, it will be 420 on 4/20/20. So that's hey man, take joy in whatever. Take joy in the little things. So we got another thing we got to do right now. But the gratitude of existence. I've heard Gary Vaynerchuk say this. Your mom could have got up and got another glass of wine, and then you don't exist. Like you don't. The randomness that you even exist at all is so monumental. We take it for granted because we exist. Here the fuck we are. We're hanging out and you're watching a thing on a screen, and I'm here with missing a hand on this thing with there's billions of sperm that could have been involved in some kind of creating of a life in your family, but your mother and father might not have met. If some bus turned the wrong way or a tire blew and they didn't meet, or something that good happened the day they met didn't trigger their happiness to like have an open mind to falling, like whatever. The chances that you exist are so minimal that even existence itself is something to be so massively grateful for, right? And then once you go from there, we live in the greatest or among the greatest societies ever. It's a scary time, but most of us, if you're looking at your Quadrex, what up? Braveheart, what up? Just a lot of great people fucking been hanging out with me lately. But if you are living at a time where you can be looking at this or an iPad or whatever you're looking at, and stream some guy from Canada who's chatting, chances are you also have food. Chances are you have water. You know, you're breathing air. Those are our basic requirements to live. After we have that, we're looking for a little safety. Do we have a house? Do we have some warmth? Do we maybe have the scenario where we think we will have food and water for a few months, get comfortable? We get to feel that feeling of safety. Once that happens, and I was talking about this over the last couple of shows, we were talking about higher, orders of thinking and different stuff. Great to see you too. Uh, and I said we would dig into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a very simple concept. The idea that once you have your physiological needs, and we prioritize our needs. So here we are. If we were just running random out in the outback and we had nothing, we would need water, food, probably some fire, and we'd need to be breathing. We are breathing, so we have that one taken care of. We need to be clear and not choked and not trapped or whatever. So we have that. Once we have those things, then we begin safety. It'll say backwards in this thing, and there's a glare, but I want to show you the basics. And a lot of people are familiar with this. I'd never come across this idea of humans have an intrinsic motivation to achieve basic things until maybe a decade or 15 years ago. My wife said she learned this in school. I haven't even heard of it until 15 years ago. But so once our basic physiological needs are met, then we start to look for safety. And for humans now, safety also represents the idea that we either would have a farm, or we would have like safety from invaders, or we have earned money or have the potential to earn money over the next few months that will then get us food and shelter and the basics. That gives us a type of safety, modern safety. And many of us have that. In Canada, where I live, and I mean fucking, it's shocking. With a quick phone call and a little process, they're getting the $2,000 a month check out to people. $2,000 a month. Like even the highest level of rent is half of that. And if it is higher than that, and you have to take on a roommate or move somewhere else, we're still going to have rent and food here. We have absolute safety in the country I live in, and in a lot of places, not everywhere. If people in your family don't have safety, we have to help take care of them. Michael says humans can live up to 2 months if there's access to an adequate water intake. You can live, yeah, air is the first one. You got to have that like every fucking minute. Water, we need, every day. Food, if we have water, we need, we're going to deteriorate, but we have those things. Safety, as I'm describing in Canada where I live, most everybody has access to that. One phone call checks, and I mean, it's that quick. And then they say, and you will receive it by this date. And I still have employment, so I don't need that, or wouldn't, that's for other people. That's for the needy. That's for people who aren't as fortunate. I give a lot of gratitude for the fact that I'm fortunate. So if I never ate, I could live on water for up to 2 months, says Triple X Games. I think that's pretty dicey. I think you'd have to be acquiring certain things, little bits and pieces of food. Whoever said 2 months with running water, I don't know what bits of insight they know or what's missing from that. That's not my take. Within a few days, you're just going to start to have some serious problems. Then after that, this is the trick, and this is something, the next thing that humans will require are intrinsic motivation after we have our basics and the feelings of safety and modern safety, like the ability to earn the things that we need in an ongoing state. The next thing we start to look for is like belonging, love, relationships, a tribe, a collective, meaningful connections. And so how long can a human live without MMA? That's a trick. It's a good question. There's a lot of martial arts in the world, though, and there's been millions of. That's nice. Your mom gets income. It's excellent. And if we have people that don't have these basics, we have to help them. So it isn't just ourselves. We will gain our satisfaction from taking care of others too. So then love, belonging, relationships, etc. Now that is harder right now when you're in your home. However, again, while we're being grateful for things, in 1918, when there was this type of pandemic, there was no Zoom, Skype, YouTube, texting, all of these things. We have the ability to stay more connected than any humans have ever lived. So we're not grateful that there's a virus that's killed 41,000 Americans and 100,000, a few 100,000 people in the world. We're not grateful for that, but we are grateful that although this happens in lifetimes, and it's happening in ours, we do have the ability to connect with people all over. Last night, my wife's family all got together to celebrate her late uncle's birthday, and they were able to share that and really share it. And tonight, she's got a friend who's alone, and they're having and the comments I've got from people say it's meaningful to them. The hardest part of fasting is the first few days, and then you get over it. I'm not getting into that one because I don't have all the information. And I don't like to. It's important to me to not have opinions on things I have very little information on. I like to eat, fairly often. After that, now, so the fact that we have that right now, again, we be grateful. Are you alone in your house right now, or with almost no one? Yes, you are, and I know that's difficult. And it's very difficult. I'm very grateful. I'm fucking married to my best friend. We hang out every day. We run and we do yoga. I'm fucking thankful. I have friends who are alone. Alone, it's harder for them, but we have this, right? We don't. There's no point worrying about what we don't have, hugs and access to people. That shit's important. But we have this. It's not as good. It's not something, but it's the glass three quarters empty, or you got a quarter glass. It's important, right? It's important. Uh, so if you are alone, you better fucking be on there. Thanks for hanging on here. If you're watching this, and thanks for considering my thoughts to be meaningful enough to watch them. We're 12 minutes in. If you're watching, I'm fucking grateful that you care enough about, or that the things I say have some meaning to you. That's really moving. And I'm fucking grateful for that. But, you connect with people wherever you can. It's important and it can be done. Shout out to Robert from Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. And so we can do it. I don't know. I don't know the science. I don't know. Maybe I can chat with a couple. I have very close psychology professor friends, and maybe I can bring one of them on to do a chat on YouTube in the coming weeks to talk about the difference between it. Because one or two hugs in a day and hanging out with people and putting your hand on the shoulder is different than this. But we have this. So let's not worry about what we don't have. Let's be grateful for what we have. And if we can get enough of that feeling in here, what humans then start to do when we have that satisfied, when the needs to be a part of a collective and a group and to connect with people are met, the next thing we start to do, and thank you, there's some very kind sentiments coming up, is we start to look for a sort of accomplishment or esteem or the respect of our peers or feelings of accomplishment, right? In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he talked about esteem, but I think the modern interpretation of that is doing something you can be proud of and doing something that others look and appreciate your accomplishments. Let's see, my fly you slacker says this is like one big vacation paid for by the government. I'm happy. Your perspective is your own, and it's a good one. I mean, if it is making you happy, then looking at it is important. And Robert says self-actualization. Yes, after esteem, the next level is esteem is to me, this is not, I'm now paraphrasing off of what Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how it was designed, and how he looked at the needs of the human, but that we are trying to accomplish something, trying to do something meaningful, make some type of work, or for people right now, they're homeschooling their kids and trying to feel a sense of accomplishment. If we can do all of these things, it becomes about self-actualization. If you're lucky enough to have your basic physiological needs, you're lucky enough to have people to relate to, what you start to do is looking to actualize yourself. This is where the higher levels of learning and sharing and growing and delving into things. We may not quite be there, but if we do have the basics right now, we have the ability to connect. If and when we connect enough, we can now learn, grow, be creative, right? Learning, growing, making things, sharing things, doing these things. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Jordan Peterson. Thanks, Robert. That's awesome. Dr. Peterson, very smart man. So we do that. And if you can be doing that, the fact that you're in your home if you've got the food, you're connecting with people on the internet, you're making relationships, now you build something. Now you learn something. Or you start developing the skills necessary so when we go back out into the world, we can add something to that new world, to that new civilization that we're going to go out to. And it sounds like an exaggeration to say we're going to go out into a new civilization, but it is new. It will be new. Pan. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is delivered as a standard tool in most corporate management training. I've come across it during training with several companies. So that's really cool. That's really good to know. And my fly here. My girlfriend dumped me for someone higher on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Hypergamy in action. Okay, I'm sad to hear that, but you know, you look at this as a chance. Whoever you meet in the future, whatever relationship you develop in the future, would not have existed had this not happened. So there's everything in the future is as a consequence and a good consequence of this. Been watching you on YouTube for years, watching your journey from afar, and it's very inspiring. You're always making me think about things differently. Keep it up, Mr. Black. Thanks, Randy. That means a lot. I don't know if you hear my dog. He's whining outside, and I'm feeling him. Should I get him? Should we get him? Let's go get him. Um, that poor little creature. Yes, Pluto, we see you. Come on. Come on. There we go. Look at him. Here he is. He's just a little. He needs attention. Like all of us, right? Yes, get him. There, Pluto. See, these are people. People, this is Pluto. His tongue hangs out on the side because he's missing teeth, and his nose runs because he's old. Right? Is your nose running? There you go. Pluto. Hi, my friend. Guillermo is your biggest fan. He's got COVID. Can you shout him out? Man, Guillermo, are you all right? First of all, thank you for your encouragement and support, guys. And second of all, man, I hope you feel better. I hope Pluto makes you feel better. That John Jones being better on cocaine discussion was actually mind blowing. I think that he may be referring to a chat I had on my IG live today with David Mullins. But we did have a conversation about John Jones and cocaine. There's many conversations that have been had and will be had, but hey, I'm gonna book it out of here and take care of this little creature. But hey, you're very lucky to be existing. You're very lucky to be having this experience. Kevin, I for sure need some Monday encouragement, Robin. Don't know what the deal is. I'm sure you can pump me up. Yeah, we're happy, Kevin. What we're doing right now is we're being grateful that we exist because of the randomness of the universe. The likelihood was that we didn't exist at all. So every single experience we have in the world is because didn't exist, and everything you've done and everyone you've met didn't exist if your parents had a slightly different experience that day, and that's it. Which could have happened from any number of things, a bus, and you don't exist, right? So, we start right there and we go from there, we take care of our basics, and then we try to, learn something every day. Let's see what comments we got before I got to go. Oh, what an old cutie. Yeah, he is an old cutie. My wee dog, Harry, says hello. Hi, Harry. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that a lot. You're welcome. Have a good one, Robin. This is better than binge watching Netflix. That's so kind of you, man. Me here, lucky I was born in the sense of parents meeting. Yeah, we're lucky, right? But all we got to do right now is once our kids are lucky enough to live where they are at right now, literally all we got to do is learn some tiny thing every single day. That's literally the only job you have right now is learn something every single day. Learn something. Continue to learn things. Bye, Pluto. Improve, grow. The things you learn will give you sort of base of knowledge, which will allow you to learn new things. Learning and knowledge is cumulative. You learn on learning. So you start that ball rolling. And then a year from now, you're a whole different person. 5 years from now, you are doing things you could have never imagined. Never imagined. I just saw something. Clouds in the sky, water in the... Just stopped. Like it. Got it. Then global pandemic. Go figure. The global pandemic when we come out of this, if we've learned new skills, if you've learned something, if you went on the internet, you went on YouTube and put in learning to do sculpture, learning to edit video, learning to play piano, whatever that is, whatever that leads you to in the future, none of that would have existed without this pandemic. And in that respect, if you take these hours and days and make something of them. They will lead to things that could have never existed ever. You must do it. You must make something of this time. If you have your basic needs met, feel grateful, and then take what the one thing you do have, which is time, and leverage it into knowledge through learning. Then take that knowledge and create something, and you will have used this weird random event in the universe of a bat biting a whatever, and then this happening, it spreads, and a government, all of these things that are happening outside of your control. You take back what is in your control, which is you learning something, which creates to something more that you know or do or create, and that leads to an entirely new reality in your life. And this isn't fucking made up stuff. It's very simple. If you learn a bunch of shit, your whole future is different than if you didn't learn a bunch of shit. Let's go learn some shit. Okay? And thank you for hanging out with me. It's really like my fucking honor. Really. I will never take it for granted. I don't know if I ever did. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. But I don't now. It's very, very, very amazing. Monterrey, Mexico. I've been there. Hello. It's a very special thing that I get to hang out with people and share my ideas. And by having someone to talk to, the ideas open up different areas of curiosity. And I read and I ponder and I study different things and I pull up different perspectives and then I share them again. And this is very helpful to me too. Very, very helpful to me. Thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Really appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Much love. Black out.